Hoffman, after being up there earlier, went down. Now he's back in the number 4 spot, and Reno Brennan putting the moves on, trying to get the 422 around Hoffman. They're bar to bar. Oh, and Hoffman just chops the front end, puts him on the ground.
Well, all that action going on, we had to change the lead between Dale Mullins and Neil Wells.
We have a couple of 2-digit guys right now running 5th and 6th, not looking to make the motos. Mikhail Ming Woodley and Jack Fowler, and Trent Shepard's going back to the front around both of them.
Sorry guys, it looks like we got that audio problem figured out, and we are back, so no talking there for just a second, but...
No one wanted to hear what we were saying.
There was actually some good commentary on a battle I wasn't even looking at, which I'm sad, but this is the battle in this consolation race. Trent Shepard, Jack Fowler.
Yep, everyone's kind of spread out up in the top 3.
And everyone chasing Travis Hoffman right now.
If you're just joining us, Kellen Brower, Chris Riesenberg, and Cody Darr in booth for round 2 Race Tech Nationals here at Glen Helen. The consolation race in the 250 class on the track right now.
Better known as Jaeger Bombs, K2B, and Checkers. At the front of the field, Dale Mullins looks like he has this thing on lock as he's on lap 3 of the race, and these are 4 minutes plus a lap, I believe. They probably already have the white flag out, I would guess.
Well, I mean, they're going to have the white flag, but it is 4 laps, yeah.
Okay, sorry. Thank you for correcting me. I appreciate it. So Dale Mullins in the lead. Neil Wells runs in second. Way behind him is his teammate Garrett Over. Hoffman actually closes it in.
Oh, Ming Woodley.
Ming Woodley uses that outside slingshot.
Nice move. And Hoffman trying to get him back, sends it, and goes down.
Legs off, right on the top of the hill there.
Don't count out 5th place Trent Shepard. We were talking about that when we probably couldn't be heard, but Shepard's probably the fastest guy on the track right now. But he cannot quit making mistakes.
Definitely having to push the envelope here as he's coming down to just 1 lap to go.
Uh-oh, we have the leader. Oh, that was my mistake. Thought the leader went down.
Freaking me out, Cody.
Too many egg bombs.
It's first time in the booth in a while. Sorry, guys.
The battle is definitely warming up on this last transfer. Mikhail Ming Woodley missed that main inside rut that's developing. Lost some serious time. Coming into the finish line, white flag flying. Trent Shepard. OJ's the finish line, but keeps it together, and the rider down. MV Films Garrett Over is down on the ground.
Oh, Shepard
down as well.
Didn't fall off the bike though. Well. And Fowler coming with Schmidt.
Bradley Schmidt, the 367 rival decal, all the way back in 7th, but has a shot at the transfer. Bar to bar, Shepard inside on Over.
Does Oliver try to respond back? He's looking inside maybe? No, splits outside. And they're both going to launch into the sand here.
Jack Fowler seems to be reeling him in. They're going to go inside and outside in the sand turn. Big berm on the outside. Oliver going to try to slingshot it.
Didn't get the drive. He knifed the front end on the outside. Meanwhile, Bradley Schmidt toe-to-toe with Fowler in the background as they almost touch. Coming back onto the start straight.
Drag race in front of the mechanics area. Over looking inside. Going to get the door shut on him by Shepard for the time being.
Through Talladega and up the first short uphill. Shepard swings
cuts
wide.
Back underneath, inside out, outside in. It looks like laundry day out there. What are they going to do at the bottom of Mount St. Helens? Looks like they're both going to go for the wide line.
Shepard. Oh, Shepard's down, but he doesn't fall off the bike. Here comes Fowler.
Far from Over. A lot of pressure right now on Garrett Over.
Oh,
the least amount of pressure maybe on Fowler as he's just pinning it because nothing to lose.
Ooh. Near contact.
Carter.
So Oliver in the position.
Oh, Trent Shepard is down.
Sent it a bit
Carter
too
put
hard.
the move on Fowler at the bottom of the hill, so he's the man on the outside looking in, just absolutely sending it on the 1, 2, 3. Look at me, Braden Carter. So and a mistake from Over. Here goes Carter.
Carter down the inside. Oliver cuts back, and there's contact. They're both down, and there goes Fowler.
A little too early for that pass, or no? You tell me.
I don't know. It was not really the best pass attempt either.
Braden's back on, right back on him though.
This corner's going to be interesting. You can triple up the option on the inside, but it's risky. Carter's just going to try to rip the outside, goes down.
Oh, Carter down, and Oliver slides through as up front. Dale Mullins takes the win. Neil Wells gets second. We're still watching this battle for the final transfer spot. Fowler versus Oliver coming into the final two corners.
Oh,
Oliver going to have to try something magical down this last straightaway to get a slingshot, maybe hope for cuts.
It's full
Just
send to
send it
the
into the
finish
finish
line,
line.
and Fowler over. Oliver just gets him 0.4 of a second, so you, like you said, might come down to cuts. We'll have to wait and see.
Oof.
Great race there
For
at
sure,
the end.
though, Gaskew, Hoffman, Carter, Schmidt, Shepard, Pichon, Reno Brennan, Tanner Thorson, Matt Model, Adrian Wilson are not going to the show.
Let's just hope the real racing's like that. Jeez.
That was some good stuff there for that last transfer spot. These guys, it's always the best race, isn't it, Chris? These guys going for it. Everything on the line, trying to make it into the motos.
Absolutely, such a tight window, and you just get so torn between, do you push forward? Do you play it safe? What do? You know, then you make a mistake and you panic.
Looks like the track is prime. Perfect ruts, not too many braking bumps.
Yeah, be curious to know what the road setting was on for this one and whether
That
they'll
was
keep
on
it
1.5.
1.5. So where are we going for the motos, Chris? Do you
The
know?
motos will be at 1.0.
Okay, cool beans.
So you should see the erode form up pretty fast and then really slow down in midway through the moto. That's the way that the settings are set up to work.
Cuts are in and no change. It is Jack Fowler going through ahead of Garrett Oliver. Along with him, Mikhail Ming Woodley, Neil Wells, and Dale Mullins. Those are the final four going into your 250 Moto number 1, which is coming up, well, right about now.
If it's anything like those LCQs, the action's going to be hotter than a ghost pepper out there, baby.
In the 250 class tonight, your fastest qualifier, the number 6, well actually the number 1 I should say, reigning champion, Colton Mitchell on a 220.1 over Jack Haley, reigning 250 East Supercross champion on a 220.7. Also Jordan Moxie in the 220s on a 220.9. Chase Estelle 221.4 and Walter Gebhardt 221.6. So a couple guys in the 220s, a couple guys in the 221s, a lot of guys in the 223s and 24s, though, so kind of a spread out field here at Glen Helen. And we're going to see these guys heading out here in just a moment.
Yeah, the longer lap time seems to typically separate the lap times a good bit. And, I mean, a few of these guys definitely been putting in the laps. I'm a little shocked to see Colton Mitchell at the top. I know he's one of the fastest guys in the game, 250 or 450, doesn't matter. But, man, Haley's been just rolling. Let's see if Mitchell can put it together during the racing, because Haley's just been so dang consistent and fast this whole year.
Yeah, you guys may have watched our broadcast last week where we watched the first 250 moto at Hangtown, and that race completed, and then we determined that the server issues were too bad to continue, and thus the first 250 moto has been forfeited, I believe, right, Chris? So we're gonna...
Yeah, that is correct. It'll be postponed, and we'll run that during the off week. After Thunder Valley, there's an off week, so we'll be running round 1 Hangtown that week for the North American Pros. We did run the amateurs as well as pros and AMs for EU during the week, and a little 125 two-stroke action as well.
Nice.
All
There-
kinds of fun stuff.
There you have it. Hangtown coming up. It's going to be essentially round 3 then, Hangtown this year, but obviously we'll still call it by the proper name as round 1 of the season. Round 2 here at Glen Helen about to kick off.
Lineup check, 1 2 1 2.
And we are going to have 250 Moto number 1 lining up right now. So this is going to be your Fast 36 coupled with those 4 guys coming straight out of the consolation race into 250 Moto number 1. And if you're new to to Race Tech Nationals, we're going to have 250 Moto 1 and 250 Moto 2 back to back, usually about a 5-minute break in between them. Just to give the guys a break, kind of alleviate the thumb pump, and then we're back out for 250 Moto 2. That's to allow the 450 guys to show up later if they would like, so they don't have to sit through a whole 250 Moto in between, or vice versa. So 250 Moto 1 and 2 are coming up, and then a little bit later on in the evening we'll see the big guys, the 450s, which we have not seen yet this year, 450 Moto 1 and 2 coming up in about an hour and 40 minutes, I would say.
Absolutely. And you know what time it is, Cullen? Why does your stream look so good?
Does it? I don't know.
Where do you get your computer parts from, Cullen?
I would have to think it has something to do with competition. Two people head to head. I don't know. Help me out, Chris.
Have you ever heard of a place called versuspc.com?
Ah, yes. Magnificent versuspc.com. Huge help this year with the broadcast, sponsoring our broadcast this year. And they will get you guys hooked up with a fresh gaming PC or any component that you need or want. VersusPC.com, Chris. And I think you have a Versus PC one to watch to tell us about.
I absolutely do. And, you know, it's funny. The guy that I was going to pick is still sitting on the gate, so I hope he's actually here. TMFactoryRacing.com. You ever heard of that site? Oh, look at him. He's rolling off the gate right now. It's the number 97 of Harry White. Qualified 11th tonight on that TMFR ride. What I was saying is, if you haven't been to TMFactoryRacing.com yet and you play MX Simulator, you're crazy. Go there. Skins, tracks, everything you could ever imagine to download. Plus, one of the longest running teams in MX Simulator, riding those beautiful blue TM motorcycles. Harry White will be our VersusPC.com one to watch.
Love it. Harry White actually had a really good near opening round that obviously won't count, but his first moto at Hangtown last week was really good. So good Versus PC one to watch there for us.
Hopefully it goes better, because I think we're about 50-50 on whether they even finish the moto when we pick a Versus PC one to watch.
Yep. Oftentimes it ends up giving us a reason to go deeper into the field, unfortunately. So try to make that not a habit this year. But we're about to find out, because hopefully, fingers crossed, we're not going to have any server issues tonight. But we are about to have the official first points-paying race of the year lined up here at Glen Helen. It may be round 2, but for these guys, it is actually the opener, and it is going to be absolute chaos. 30 minutes plus 2 laps on the docket, and one gnarly racetrack set to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's go racing!
Here we go. 30 board is up, 30 board is sideways, and JLV is heading off the track. We are set to go. It is the Glen Helen National.
And getting the jump out of the gate down into turn 1. It looks like a good start for Sean Klein up the inside. The 58 machine's going to beat him there. That's Jake the Snake Rose out with the early lead.
Right,
Isaiah Dickerson coming in clutch. Colt Mitchell, Sean Klein in the mix as they go to the top of Mount St. Helens for the first time.
Oh, and Rose went down, took out a huge grouping, including
Jack Haley was one
Mitchell.
of them.
Yeah, Mitchell and Haley are both down at the top of the hill. And that's going to give Dickerson actually a lot of breathing room early as Neil Wells, straight out of the Consi, settles into second. Former champion Seidhoff is in third, looking inside already.
Ooh, looking aggressive. So Neil Wells and Isaiah Dickerson, a couple of teammates out front, running in the 1-2. Seidhoff looks like he is about to run over the back wheel, and Neil Wells, he wants by in a hurry.
Versus PC one to watch.
17.
Harry White right up here, right behind Ivan Medina. Phil Bull also in the mix. And as you said, Seidhoff looking for an inside move on Wells. He's going to get it in the back section.
Somehow Sean Klein, even after getting tangled in that pileup, is inside the top 10 already. Keep an eye on the number 10 bike.
Defending champion Colton Mitchell buried back in 18th.
So Mitchell will track his progress as he tries to get moving forward after that early fall. Jack Haley as well. Our two fastest qualifiers both buried and trying to chase this lead group, which is absolute chaos. Phil Bull down the inside of Will Whiteley.
Move on Whiteley, who is trying to make a move on Neil Wells. Phil Bull on the way to the front right now on the number 40 Volcom ride.
So Whiteley now tracked down by Harry White right there. Ivan Medina is in the background. And then, as you said, Klein able to recover from that mishap and already right up with these guys. Over the line to complete lap 1.
The top 10 beside your leader, Isaiah Dickerson, has stretched it out by 3 seconds already. And then settling into second, Jared Seidhoff. But from third back to the end of your top 10, it is congested. It's tight. There's more traffic than a cigarette sale in the trailer court going on early at Glen Helen.
Medina all over the place, got around Whiteley as he tripled into the corner before the sand, and then blitzed through the whoops to get a little bit of an advantage. Is now Klein going after his teammate Whiteley as well.
Keep an eye on the front of the field. Seidhoff has closed the gap. It's under a second now to Isaiah Dickerson. Jared Seidhoff is putting the hammer down.
Neil Wells out of this consolation race is maybe making this race quite a bit interesting early on as everybody's kind of bunching up behind him. Now Whiteley looking back inside on Medina into Talladega, and he's going to get him again.
So much action. I like that line from Medina. He cuts back under, carries a lot of speed up the hills on the outside. It'll put him on the inside at the bottom of Mount St. Helens. Let's see where the 250 guys go. It looks like Wells going to go to inside. Bull around the outside along with Whiteley. Medina goes inside.
Yeah, but that outside line, oh, Whiteley pulls alongside, and Klein still lurking right there as he tries to go down the inside of the top of the hill.
As the braking bumps really start to develop, I'm guessing we're going to start to see more lines going down these hills as they do definitely get rough and gnarly.
Man,
Wells is he's the dam. It's just the Hoover Dam waiting to break right here, trying to protect Vegas behind him, I guess.
It's just an all-out sprint with these guys right now, too, with the track not being as deteriorated yet. Everybody is just full bore.
Here goes Phil Bull looking inside, but there's no line developed there yet, so he can't slingshot past Neil Wells. Wells just solid and consistent right now.
Medina hung up behind Whiteley. We're going 3 wide on the uphill double.
Sean Klein just carrying some serious momentum, trying to go around all these guys.
Whiteley jumps to the inside, and Medina's right there, and they're both down. Klein and Medina hit the deck. There goes Devin Ryan. There goes Jack Haley we just saw go through. No sign yet of Mitchell.
Mitchell got caught up with Jack Fowler.
Battle for the lead, bar to bar over the finish, and we have a new leader. Jared Seidhoff triples on past Isaiah Dickerson.
Just like that, we saw last week the non-counted Hangtown race, which Jeremy Smith won the moto. Seidhoff tailed him for very long in that race, but couldn't quite hold on to him near the end. Now Seidhoff going to try to win this first moto at Glen Helen, but Dickerson I don't think is done just yet.
Oh, they're going to split lines before the sand rollers. Let's see how that works out. Looks like Dickerson actually lost a little bit of time using that inside.
Speaking of Jeremy Smith, he is right behind Colton Mitchell in 15th. Let's
Neil
see
Wells.
if those two can tag team and train to the front.
Just lost a spot to Devin Ryan, who also had a great performance at that Hangtown Moto. As he's on his way to the front, Devin Ryan putting in a great ride. He also was a front runner in the EU series last week that did run from Hangtown. I think he actually won a moto, Devin Ryan, flying outdoors.
I think the man we got to keep an eye on here, though, is Jack Haley, who has come back from that early crash and is already up near the front, trying to get around Devin Ryan.
Battle for third and fourth. Whiteley goes inside, aggressive on Bull, puts him on the ground. Now Ryan and Haley that you mentioned are going up the hill. Neil Wells still up in the front mix. And our versus PC one to watch going to go by him up the hill.
And these 250Fs on these uphills, it's all about momentum, using those outsides to carry it.
There you see Devin Ryan moving to it inside there at the bottom of the hill. Haley going to try to rail him. Can't quite get it done. Yeah, I was just going to say, these guys are going to be interesting. From what I've seen thus far preseason and the little bit that I've seen, these guys might be the two to look for this championship battle. Very, very early prediction, of course.
Yeah, Haley just looks like he is stalking Devin Ryan at this point. Obviously wanting a freight train towards the front.
Haley carrying a lot of momentum up the inside. Not quite able to get past. And split to the outside.
Off the track.
Crazy. During qualifying, I didn't really see anyone using that outside line, but now coming through the race, they're actually using it here, at least in the battle. Same thing with this corner right before the finish. Maybe it's just a 250 thing carrying the momentum.
Yeah, the lines seem all split up.
Harry White just showing a wheel right now to Jack Haley. And by the way, the battle for the lead has not cooled down at all. Seidhoff actually just made a mistake. Dickerson followed him. They both blew the rut out. They both did the same exact thing in the rut. I don't know if Dickerson was just locked in behind him trying to chase Seidhoff or what, but he has the run now. Seidhoff didn't get the triple into the sand. Can Dickerson slingshot him right here?
Oh, look at Dickerson rip the rut, and he's going to try to wheelie his way through the rollers. Battle for the lead at Glen Helen, just shy of 8 minutes into this thing. Oh, these 250Fs are just winged out for everything that are worth going to that first corner. Sidehop, the former series champion, versus Dickerson, who at this point is pretty much not a rookie. He's almost made a full season in the pros. But showing him a wheel here at the bottom of Mount St. Helens as they work their way towards the top now.
Oh, he's got to line up the inside again. So Dickerson earlier got run down and passed by Sidehoff. As the track's shaping in a little bit more, Dickerson maybe has a little advantage.
Dickerson got kind of cut off there by Sidehoff at the bottom and tried to check up and go across the ruts, and it just did not work. Lost a good bit of time there.
Interesting enough, though, looking at the lap times, 225.2 for Sidehoff, 226.2 for Dickerson, and a 227.6 for Haley, who has moved into that third spot. Still early in the track's getting faster now, and also getting more demanding. So it's going to get a little faster here for a little bit before it starts to actually slow back down with the erode. Sidehoff made a mistake there. He jumped a little deep into that double face, going to lose a little bit of time.
So our two leaders now have about an 11-second lead over Jack Haley, who we just flashed back to. He's in third.
He's bringing Harry White with him to the front. Neil Wells still holds on to fifth. Looking good on the MV Films machine, 154 out of that LCQ. He's got pressure heavy from Sean Klein. Then we find Devin Ryan, who's lost touch with Jack Haley back in 7th. Phil Bull, there's Jeremy Smith running in 9th, and Jake Warden is rounding out our top 10 under heavy pressure from our defending champion, Colton Mitchell, on the Art Racecraft decals numero uno.
Sidehoff, big mistake in the sand rollers, and Dickerson's going to go right back up behind him again.
All right, here they go. They're going to split here before the sand once again. But this time, Sidehoff got that triple in. I think if he gets the triple, it's faster. Dickerson looks like he lost a little bit of time.
Yeah, he definitely pulled him.
Watch out for your third place rider, Jack Haley. Call him Stacy's mom because he has it going on. 2:23.9 lap time. He is running your leaders down right now.
Wow. 3 seconds quicker than Dickerson's pace right now. And, well, the same for Sidehoff, but Sidehoff into the 225s earlier. This gives you an idea of how the lines are developing on board with Dickerson here as he tries to track down Sidehoff. Big braking bumps coming down the short chute hill, heading up Mount St. Helens now.
Wow, he carried so much speed into that inside line. I can't believe he was able to hold that rut.
Big braking bumps down towards the bottom of Mount St. Helens, and then they loop around the outside.
Certainly slowed that second downhill going down Mount St. Helens quite a bit, not going all the way to the top. You don't carry that extra momentum off the top from that corner. And I think it opens up the racing a little bit better, though.
And it's crazy to see how hard and fast these guys are pushing each other, and yet Haley's still able to go 2 or 3 seconds a lap faster than them right now.
Yeah, the gap's actually stayed just about the same this lap, 10.2 seconds. It's about what it was when I updated you guys on that 2:23 lap time.
Haley just looks so smooth. Like he's out for a Sunday cruise.
Dickerson is trying some different lines, and it looks like it's actually losing him some time to side off now as they come up over the line here again on the lap number 6.
As the track gets worn in, I'm sure you're going to have to start mixing up your lines just a touch to transfer over, as some lines are going to get faster and some are going to get slower, maybe just moving a little too early.
Go back in the field of touch and find our defending champion, Colton Mitchell. He was just in a battle with Jeremy Smith, and then Smith went down. Now Mitchell's trying to get to Neil Wells, who is really having a really good early ride here coming out of the Consi. Still inside of the top 10, and we're approaching the halfway mark here soon.
Yeah, he just narrowly missed out on making that top 36. And had a good ride in the Consi, and he's a veteran in the community. Not known as the blazing fast guy, but more consistent in the start, definitely helping him out. But I don't think even that's going to help him with Colton Mitchell, who's just on a rail right now.
Yeah, Mitchell closing in here at the end of the sand section.
That inside they were just using before that, the table double section starting to get a little blown out. Be curious if at the end of the race they actually have to move to the outside. Mitchell with the move up the inside.
Yeah, that's a pretty clear indication that that outside triple into the sand line is faster if you get it clean. This blew right on by Wells. Next up would be Phil Bull.
Oof, that rut into that hip jump before the start straight. Oh, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of ruts already kind of developing pretty good here. Pretty big one-lined ruts near the top of the hills. We got a rider down at the bottom of the hill. It's Devin Ryan and Harry White are both down.
Mitchell going to look to capitalize up the inside of the turn. Is he going to have enough drive to shut off Phil Bull? I think he is, as the outside's starting to get really rough at coming out of the corner. The guys aren't able to carry as much momentum.
So there you go, Mitchell around Bull and around Devin Ryan, who is still trying to get up from his crash. So Harry White is the next rider in front of him, and Mitchell's now into the top 5.
Making pretty quick work of everyone so far. Other than a few hiccups, I think he got into an altercation with Jack Fowler at the top of Mount St. Helen, but other than that, he's been riding pretty clean and getting through the pack pretty quick.
Battle at the tail end of the top 10. Sean Klein putting pressure on Colby Eagland, who snuck into the top 10. That puts 3 relaxed Atari riders up in the top 10 right now.
Yeah, I would say Eagland's kind of been the surprise of the year. Been really good in Supercross. He had a fairly decent Hangtown Moto 1. And again, looking strong inside of the top 10 here early at Glen Helen. Certainly looks comfortable.
Things are kind of spread out for the moment. Huge gap from third back to fourth. That's a 26-second gap. Mitchell closing in on Harry White, our versus PC one to watch as he runs in fourth right now. Colton Mitchell closing it in. See him working that inside before those sand rollers.
Harry White almost looped it out in front of him. Ooh,
This is the turn I'm thinking starting to get really blown out. Leaving the turn, it's starting to get bumpy. Mitchell actually missing all the rough, jumping out of the rut a little early. Looks like they have a line formed on that outside, making that triple in a little easier now. Usually it's really slippery. Oh, Mitchell has a drive up the inside.
Oh man, that inside rut is just absolutely prime, and then Mitchell just out drags him into the next corner.
Harry White actually shut off a little bit down the sand to give him the spot instead of trying to race him to the corner and putting them both at risk. Oh, Dickerson in second is down on the downhill. So
That's going to give Haley the
probably gonna
spot.
move into second.
Dickerson hanging out with some spectators as he gets going.
Down. Oh, he was kind of stuck in a precarious spot on that tabletop.
That's going to allow Haley to close up quite a bit, actually, as he's jumping past the number 908. I think that's Ming Woodley.
Yeah, sight off was down right there at the face of that tabletop in a weird spot. I don't know what happened.
So Sidehop trying to get back away at the front as Haley is trying to track him down. We are past the halfway point at this point. Chris, maybe a good time to give us a little bit of a, what do you say, a race tech run through the field?
Oh, have we lost Chris?
We've lost Chris. Oh, Cody.
White, we might have lost Harry White too. Oh my gosh, he was battling there with Colton Mitchell and just jumped way off the track.
Well, Cody, we're going to go ahead and do a race tech run through the field, race tech suspension and engines now. Doing it all. You can head over to racetech.com to get your patented gold valves or any of your suspension or engine needs taken care of. And out front, it is the number 17 former series champion, Jared Seidhoff, on the LaFlame Husqvarna. He is trying to get back away. He had a good gap, crashed, and now he has a decent gap over second place man Jack Haley, Relaxa Tire Suzuki. 250 East Supercross champion this series, or this year, I should say. So he's trying to pick up right where he left off in Supercross. Third place, former race leader. Now sitting on the podium, number 65 is Isaiah Dickerson on the MV Films Honda. Defending series champion, Colton Mitchell, ART Racecraft Decals #1 machine, has had to work his way into fourth after a first lap crash, I should say. Harry White, TMFR machine, running in fifth. Our Versus PC one to watch is killing it out here, but he's about to be under attack from Relaxa Tires' Devin Ryan, who holds down the sixth spot. Devin Ryan putting in another solid ride. Phil Bull has slipped his way back to seventh, but still inside of the top 10 for Team Volcom. And Jeremy Smith, every time I latch onto him, it seems he's on the ground, but here he is, number 4 for Prestige Worldwide. In 8th, Colby Eagland is 9th, chasing him down on the Captain 891 Relaxa Tire Suzuki. And Will Whiteley on the 201 Evergood machine holds down 10th. We'll go back a little bit further. We find Sean Klein 11th, Neil Wells 12th, Walter Gebhardt 13th, Zoe Cross in 14th, Ivan Medina back to 15th, Edward Mora in 16th. Here's Tyler Lewis in 17th, Jake Warden in 18th, Josh Williams 19th, and Jake Rose holds down the final points paying position. Not too far back with him. Of him, though, is Jordan Moxie and Matthias Janis, Jacob Hubbard, Gunnar Fugler, Zach Prokop, Tyler Lang, Jack Gatlin, Brandon Enoch, Alex Carlo, and Austin Eklund inside of the top 30. Craig Leake outside of the top 30, not doing as well as he would have hoped at this, really opening round of the series.
That was pretty damn good, Kellen.
As your race tech run through the field. Dara, I think you can vouch for race tech. I'm sure you've had a few shots right out of their suspension chambers.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Jack Haley.
Yeah, Jack Haley closing it up a little bit on Jared Sidoff here.
225.2 last time by to a 226.3, so over a second gained for Haley last time by, and we are just now hitting 20 minutes exactly. So 10 minutes plus 2 laps to go, and Haley is at the bit between his teeth. He is trying to run down your race leader.
Isaiah Dickerson lost some touch with the front two there a little bit. He's 14 seconds behind now. Still running a strong race though in third.
Starting to see guys really exploring different options here. Haley staying all the way on the left side down Mount St. Helens, gets a huge kick at the bottom. He's going to lose a couple seconds there.
Everything's kind of spread out right now.
Yeah, definitely a pretty spread out field. Actually, I'm going to go back because I see a battle of Bruin. Sean Klein has about 78 guys right behind him in the sand. Neil Wells is now outside of the top 10. Zoe Cross and Sean Klein have gone through. Medina is right there. Then Lewis and Mora are also right there as well.
That is a train. Neil Wells is a little off-track excursion. Going to drop a few positions.
Tyler Lewis is also down, and then there's more riders down at the bottom of the hill. Everybody's crashing on Mount St. Helens.
Looking pretty rough.
Ooh, and then somebody just yard sailed. That was Neil Wells. Bring your pennies. There's a sail on the side of the track. There's boots and goggles everywhere. All right, looking back up front, taking a look at our gap once again. It's 3.4 seconds, now 3.2. So Haley, despite losing a couple seconds, has maintained that about 3-second gap. Sidehoff 229.1 to a 228.2 to Haley last time by. It is coming down.
Yeah, the lap times are slowing down, but Haley is still applying the pressure.
Interesting to see Haley, little Marvin Muscan-ish, hopping his way through the braking bumps like a rabbit. And it's actually very, very effective.
Yeah, he is finding some very unique lines.
Look at that, all the way down the left side of Mount St. Helens, he gained a good chunk of time.
Yeah, he really pulled up down to 1.9 seconds now. It looks like Jared's making a few mistakes here and there.
Yeah, I wonder if Sidehoff may be starting to feel that pressure a little bit. Someone's got to be telling him where Haley is and maybe what he's doing, but you can even see on the pit board the time going down.
Got a little too steez. Oh.
Just able to corral that relaxed tire machine back together and really didn't lose any time. Lapper's getting out of the way.
I think he is the hunter right now. He is stalking the prey.
Ooh, loses the front end.
As I say that.
It's the mistakes that are killing him because he's very clearly got the speed to get to Sidehoff, but he just can't seem to put it together when he gets within a few seconds. So it's back to work now. Meanwhile, things tightening up a little bit more for third. Colton Mitchell has got his eyes set on Isaiah Dickerson as they work their way towards the REM track. Oh, and then as I say that, Mitchell slides out.
The commentator's jinx.
It'll be a killer.
Oh, Haley got the triple into the sand. Let's see if he can make up a little bit of time. Yeah.
Real factor to deal with for these guys right now is lap traffic. Not a ton of it per se, but Sidehoff definitely getting into it a little bit here.
Haley has a killer line at the end of the first roller section through the sand where he is hopping into the rut and just absolutely railing the inside rut.
Both of these guys look fantastic, but if I could say one thing, it looks like Haley's setup is so much better down the inside, and he got him. No problemo. Sidehoff, a mistake, missed the inside rut, and that's all she wrote. Jack Haley to the race lead. Less than 5 minutes and a lap to go. Oh, and Sidehoff cartwheeling down the hill.
He has plenty of time, but...
I was talking about setup there for just a second, though, but it seems to me like Sidehoff's setup worked a little bit better early on when the track wasn't as rough. And as it's starting to get rough, bigger bumps, more ruts, he's struggling just a little bit, it seems. Not a ton, but it's noticeable.
Yeah, he's making a few small mistakes just like that. He just got into that rut and slipped out of it and missed the jump face on that. And
battle for third is starting to warm up. Colt Mitchell has reeled in Dickerson.
oh, we have a wild checkers back in the booth.
A lot of guys using that far left side down the hill now, and it looks like it's gaining time.
Starting to look like Glen Helen out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, getting rough. Let's just, can we just save the terrain as is and just load it in for the next moto?
I think that the community might kill me. They're probably already complaining about how rough it is.
Actually,
perfect.
Yeah, I'm seeing in chat is a little intense.
I honestly don't think it looks that bad. I mean, this is eroding, I think, pretty well for this time in the race. I mean, we're getting close to the end. It certainly should break down a bit more.
It's an MX track.
Yeah, I mean, line choice should be important, and definitely you have to move out of your lines at this point. And I mean, it is Glen Helen going down those downhills like Mount St. Helens. You have to expect bigger bumps than Pamela Anderson's chest going down there, right?
Yep, absolutely.
I tell you what, Colton Mitchell seeming to excel a little bit in these conditions, while Dickerson maybe struggling a little bit.
And Mitchell's got that triple into the inside there, working so good. Battle for third is on. Colton Mitchell versus Isaiah Dickerson. The final podium spot up for grabs. Mitchell on the outside, triples in. Got him.
Time and time again, we've been watching that line be the faster line. Man,
Wow.
Mitchell just railed that inside.
You know, you would think Dickerson getting passed earlier in the race by that line might have learned at this point, but understandably fallen into a groove maybe and liking that inside a little bit more for consistency reasons.
Yeah, consistency or just comfort in general, perhaps.
Oh, looks like he's trying to come back after him here.
Oh, Mitchell just absolutely sent it through that inside line. And you're right, Cody. It looks like Dickerson wants a piece of that points lead.
These guys on the brakes down Mount St. Helens. Dickerson going to that inside. He has a good line. That outside's getting rough, but not rough enough to slow it down.
Yeah, I think the outside's coming back just a little bit more there because there's a big notch on the single out of the inside that's kind of causing people to get a bit of a hiccup as they try to get the drive up the hill.
Oh, mistake, though, for Mitchell. On that inside, he got a hop.
He is not letting him go.
Good on the lappers getting out of the way there. Saw one of the TMFR riders. It might have been Alana Solis. As this battle roars its way through, less than a minute to go, and then we'll get the 1 lap card, or the 2 lap card, I should say.
Harry White. Oh, and Devin Ryan goes down. Harry White takes over 5th spot.
It's our versuspc.com one to watch, running up in the top 5. Nice ride for the TMFactoryRacing.com rider.
And I'll tell you what, Isaiah
Dickerson
Dickerson
third. Wow.
wants a piece of Mitchell badly. Look at him. He's going to switch the lines. They're going to go almost side by side on the takeoff.
Lapper down.
Oh, splitting the lappers. And
Oh,
Dickerson almost into the back of Mitchell. Wow, great
this
battle.
is like national motocross to me.
That was incredible, those guys splitting that lapped rider. Oh, and Mitchell's having to not triple to get to the inside now, and he messed it up as Dickerson almost gets taken down by a lapper, but he's going to get the spot on Mitchell.
Whew. That was a bold move.
Real tight with the lapper coming back on the track there. And Dickerson able to take back third.
There he goes using that outside finally. He doesn't get the triple in, though, so he's going to surrender.
Oh, and he goes down. Maybe that's why, Chris, huh?
Yeah, I guess. Give a call out to your new 5th place rider, Colby Eaglin, the 891, I'm sorry. The relaxed tire rider, picking some tail feather out there, running up in the top 5. I've noticed after the finish, this outside's actually coming back to being fast again. The rollers have gotten beat down so much.
Yeah, and that's really the thing that I enjoy the most about the Erode is it forces these guys to, in the middle of the race, find a different line that works, and then maybe that other line comes back later in the race. As we've seen, the lines kind of develop different ways all throughout the moto.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. And I mean, we're in the infancy of it, so all these guys are kind of learning on the fly as well. I mean, there hasn't been enough big road races for them to really have to chance to learn those skills. As I was watching your leader, Jack Haley, actually getting outside the main line before that big downhill jump, which I didn't think would ever happen.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Haley's lead is monumental, and what it has done is side-off is maybe a mistake or even a fall-off crash away from losing second. Mitchell isn't terribly far away at this point.
No.
Something crazy. Colton Mitchell just ran his fastest lap of the race, last lap around, as gnarly as the track is. Now, it's only a 227. It just shows the traffic he was obviously in and the mistakes he was making early in the race. But the rough track obviously not bothering him too much.
Yeah, 2-lap board out for, I should say, Haley as he went by. So 2 laps to go, and you can tell that gap the race leader has right now,
Battle for
Haley,
fifth.
is massive.
Mitchell is definitely exploring some new lines.
Colby Eaglin starting to come under pressure from Devin Ryan. As Devin's shooting for another top 5 finish to start off the series here officially.
Can't count on our versus PC one to watch. Harry White's right there as well.
Even going a little bit further back in 10th, 9th and 10th, Walter Gebhardt and Sean Klein getting a nice little battle going on.
And before these guys get locked into too tight of a battle here as the two lap boards out, let's rip through a quick top 10 rundown.
Chris, you missed us earlier.
Oh, you already did one?
Yeah.
Then we're good. We're Gucci. I'm done. I'm not doing one.
You can do another one. Well, you can save it for next moto.
Oh, we'll definitely save her. The battle right now, though, is for 6th, I guess. Harry White actually closed up on Devin Ryan, as Devin Ryan's lost a little bit of time to Kobe Eaglin. Of course, one mistake, and it'll put him right back there in the battle.
I don't think Seidhoff's out of the woods yet.
Oh, somebody down. That was Devin Ryan. Devin Ryan down after the finish line, loses that spot to Harry White. Gets up in frustration and now gets on behind Phil Bull. And Gebhardt also coming.
From Phil Bull.
So now Gebhardt and Devin Ryan, that outside line not working at all for Gebhardt, and it allows Sean Klein to close back in. Not the ride Jeremy Smith was hoping to have this week after preliminarily winning the first moto at Hangtown last week.
Seidhoff ran a 2:32 last lap, and Mitchell ran a 2:28. And it looks like Mitchell is just gelling right now.
Klein versus Gebhardt, right behind Devin Ryan and Phil Bull, is the battle on your screen as they work their way down the short hill. Oh my gosh, Klein swapping all the way to the bottom of the hill. I don't know how he corralled that bike together. Meanwhile, Gebhardt and Ryan, oh, Gebhardt almost loops it out. And Phil Bull still right in front of them. Look at Gebhardt just around the outside. Woo! Slingshot engaged, makes the pass happen. And Devin Ryan fights right back and gets it. Great battle between the 34 and the 31, right behind the 40 of Phil Bull, and right ahead of Sean Klein on the 10, who again has another humongous moment in the background. Oh, these guys are just nose to tail. Oh, Phil Bull down on the uphill double section, so these guys are both going to go by. In fact, Klein will also go by, and Jeremy Smith. So that was very costly for Phil Bull. And our versus PC one to watch, Harry White almost putting it into the SpongeBob's. This moto, though, has been a Jack Haley clinic. Not the best of starts. Cotton past Seidhoff and absolutely dropped him. And Seidhoff's down! Seidhoff down at the bottom of Mount St. Helens, and here comes Mitchell into second on the number 1.
Seidhoff gets up quick. Let's see if he can rebound.
As it stands, a very costly mistake for Seidhoff. Led so much of this moto, drifted back to second, had a few huge mistakes, and now has lost it.
I think you are right about that, Kellen. He was riding good in the beginning portion of the moto, but then when it came towards the end of the moto where it's getting a little rougher and tougher.
Coming to the line. Why would he be waiting?
What? And maybe giving someone a teammate, a lap there as Jack Haley wins moto number 1 here at Glen Helen. Was giving Tyler Lang an extra lap there. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, a huge margin for Jack Haley here in Moto 1.
Put Mitchell all the way to second. Was it got to be considered a good performance?
Yeah, it's not over though. Seidhoff is still right there. And one mistake for Mitchell, those positions will change. I think he's good though, coming into these final couple corners, taking it easy. Making sure just to hit his marks. Seidhoff, for what it's worth, pushed into the finish.
It's going to make him feel a little bit better knowing he got back up and slatched on.
Battle. 6th. 3 riders going at it right now. Walter
Really,
Gebhardt,
4
Devin
riders.
Ryan, Harry White, and Sean Klein, actually.
Look at this.
Holy cow, last lap dicing.
Devin Ryan wants to get back around Gebhardt. Harry White's just hoping chaos actually ensues. And Sean Klein is just going to hope to avoid whatever happens.
4 guys in the air at the same time. Let's see, they're probably going to split lines here at the top of the hill. Devin Ryan lost a little bit of drive.
On board with Sean Klein, watching every little move in front of him. And he's going to go to the inside. Harry White from the outside is going to hang on to the spot. That inside line is so dug out. Oh, White is down into the hay bales.
And that's going to allow Jeremy Smith to get by.
So Gebhardt is going to
Jeremy
survive.
Smith just went down, so Harry White's going to go back by him.
Bill Bull will
don't
not
think
get there in
he-
time.
Oh,
gonna
Sean
get
Klein's
there.
down. Sean Klein rode around the finish there. It was a weird.
Harry White ends up 9th. Jeremy Smith 10th. Phil Bull 11th. Tyler Lewis 12th as all the chaos comes down the line. Oh!
Cross.
What a pass! Mora jumps past Cross at the line, and what do we have here? Will Whiteley and Tyler Lang have made contact. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but they both ended up off the side of the track. And now Lang really ends up off the side of the track. These are the last 2 guys on the lead lap. So it comes down to the finish line. Great run for Whiteley. He's going to swing wide and lose it.
Just not enough bite there. He had the right idea, go around all those bumps and try something different.
Lang. Go ahead, Dar.
I was going to say, I think if that secondary rut there might have been maybe a little bit spaced from that first rut, more riders might have been able to, you know, dive on in there and get it built in. It looks like that first rut really built up and pushed into that secondary rut that's there.
Yeah, I think we were maybe 2 or 3 laps away from everybody jumping out of that inside rut as it was getting quite deep. All right, 5-minute break.
Great ride for Jack Haley, though.
And everybody bitching about the road, but obviously everybody has the same thing. I thought the road was great, personally, the way it molded and made guys have to change up their lines.
Like Chris said, it's still in its infancy. It's gonna.
I mean, I'm pretty stoked on how it formed up, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I don't think you could do much better. What do these guys want? They just want a perfectly groomed track so they can hit their same damn line every lap over and over again. They need to get their panties out of a bunch and start racing some real motocross.
I do like some of the starter little ruts. I do think maybe some of the spacing might be a little, you know, could be different in some corners. Some of the corners that look great. That downhill after the Mount St. Helens, it looked like there's 3 or 4 ruts in that corner.
I mean, the fact of the matter is late in the race, there was multiple lines on the racetrack.
Yeah,
Turn a road down and it's going to be a 1-line freeway. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought it made for great racing. We had battles all the way to the finish line.
Be right back.
So, I don't know. I don't know what you could do differently, but I mean, I think you're in agreement here, Cody. Like that was pretty good for what it started out as.
Oh yeah. I wish I could have raced it, even though I probably would have got 40th. I mean, it would have been fun.
I mean, what I think is the frustrating part, and like I said, like we talked about a little bit with Sidehoff, is that some of these guys have their suspension geared up for that early part of the race where it's just a freeway, which is kind of a fair assessment because for qualifying, that's how their suspension is because they only get 8 minutes plus a lap, and the track doesn't usually deteriorate that bad. But as we get later in the moto, the track gets rougher, their suspension can't handle it the same way. I thought that really provided kind of a new element that these guys hadn't faced yet, and that's why they're mad. I mean, you know, whatever, be mad about it if you're not good at it, but I thought it was pretty good overall.
Well, it definitely looks like Haley did his homework.
Yeah, I mean, Haley, towards the end of the moto, still was doing the same lines and hitting all of his marks no problem, so clearly somebody figured it out. I think just the rest of these guys maybe have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, and like Chris said, it'll be fine tuned. There'll probably be, for next week's track, they'll try and take the feedback and do the best that they can with building the track and making, a road work with the track as best as they can. And
I am back, by the way.
it's not always going to be perfect, but not going to be able to suit everyone.
I can't wait till we get to Southwick and the track breaks down like all holy hell and everybody really cries. Bring back Glen Helen. Glen Helen was so much better.
I also think the shape of the ruts formed great. Like they didn't get like super wide. Like they were wide enough to fit a bike, but they weren't super wide that they took up, a quarter of the track width, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, what I like was that they were still railable, but they definitely started getting deep enough that, they couldn't rail them as hard. Like some guys would throw it in and they'd clip a shoulder on like a barrier or something and get thrown across the track because of how deep the ruts were getting. But I mean, that's kind of what it has to happen. Like if you're gonna develop lines on the outside of the track, you have to at some point get the ruts deep enough on the inside that they're no longer useful. That's just how it happens in real life and how it should happen here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think there's people gonna have to learn to play differently and adapt, and I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not gonna ever make everyone happy, and different people are gonna like different things. I'm all about providing good racing and good passing opportunities, which means multiple lines.
Oh,
if
yeah.
it's smooth, there's not going to be multiple lines. There's not going to be passing. So,
Yeah.
Well, totally. Like I said, I think that a lot of these guys, qualifying seems to be just, a gigantic penis measuring competition these days. So everybody tries to build a setup around that, and it's only 8 minutes of qualifying, so the track doesn't deteriorate as bad as it will during the motos. And so their setup is all built around for these qualifying formats, and then as it gets later in the race, their setup doesn't work as well anymore. So if you want to race well, build a setup that races well. If you want to qualify well, that's your prerogative.
absolutely. But we're going racing again. A road is staying at 1.0, and I mean it's the way it was designed. I ran a bunch of test races to get to these settings. It's not just something I pulled out of my butt.
No. I think
Some will like it, some will hate it. I don't really care all that much. I believe it's good.
I believe it's good too. I give you a 7.5 out of 10.
That's what I strive for, baby.
I
That's
mean,
what I strive for.
what I would say about it, Chris, is if you just took that height map from that track and compared it to some of the ruts and bumps that were pre-made last year, I don't really feel that was that different. Like it didn't get overly rough comparatively. So.
And I think even like I was saying, if maybe some of the secondary ruts in a few corners, or maybe even a space differently, we would have even more ruts in the corners. Like I was saying, I think the one corner after, or right before the start or the finish line. I'm sorry, right before the finish line, there was a secondary rut, and the inside rut got so deep that it was pushed into the secondary rut, and the secondary rut wasn't really usable. Maybe if it might have been spaced out just a little bit from that inside rut, might have gave riders a third option even to start forming a new line there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so this should be a warm-up lap here, I believe. And you know what that means? We got to pick somebody again.
Oh man, who are we gonna pick this time?
I'm gonna try to find someone that's not complaining about a road. First of all.
I think Logan Leitzel likes the road.
I saw somebody when I was going through the field, first moto, throwing a dirty whip. I just got to find him and make sure he's still here. There he is, P4, Jacob Hubbard. He rides for the BPC team on the 778. I saw him on the hip jump in moto number 1 throw an absolutely dirty oppo. So he's going to be our versus PC one to watch because I want to see another one of those dirty oppos as the offset just went kabooey in the server for me. Coming right back down, but...
Well, as you know, I'm loading in 1,500 skins, so I'm still sitting here. There we go.
Hey, I'm super excited that Devin Davis is actually on my side for something for once.
it's a little bit like having Tony Alessi on your side. Like, he will fight to the death for you, for good or for bad, right?
Yeah, I know all about that, actually.
Hey, you guys have a little race tech promo here. You guys have that mini Warriors thing coming up this weekend, right?
It's coming up Saturday at Milestone. It's a mini bike supercross series. Where the supercross track was at Milestone, they converted it to a mini bike supercross track. Tony Alessi is actually the promoter of it. It's called AIM Minicross, and there's some sick stuff up for grabs. Not just from Racetech. Like, we're putting up actually a factory support contract for one racer out of that series. But I mean, they have like thousands of dollars of gift cards from like Pro Circuit Fly, a few other companies as well. I know of, like, really big awards, like enough to get yourself like a full exhaust system from PC and stuff, like crazy stuff.
Yeah, and it's a cool idea too, because I think we've seen it a little bit more lately with like Brian Deegan training his son Hayden on supercross tracks. It's a good idea to get these kind of top mini riders at a young age, accustomed to timing jumps and stuff like that. It's not a full-blown supercross track, no, but it's still, more jumpy than the average racetrack, and I think it can help them develop their skills.
I think Tony's learning a little bit from what he didn't do with Mike and Jeff, and that's they didn't get on Supercross early enough, and Supercross is such a big part of our sport. So, plus he has a daughter now. She's a baby. She's gonna be racing pretty soon. He's got to have a place for her to go race.
There you go.
What are you guys' thoughts on the Supercross futures?
I miss arena cross. My heart's in some arena cross, and I know there's a lot of people who's gonna lose jobs and stuff too. So.
Yeah, I'm sure Kicker though will definitely be around.
Or Nitro X Series or one of those. I'm watching our versus PC one to watch Jacob Hubbard here on the start. He's in P8.
All right, well, here we go. It's moto number 2 from Glen Helen. We are looking down the inside of the gate, and the gate is down. Good jump from Phil
Hubbard.
Bull.
Yeah,
Hubbard with a good start. There's Klein down
Dickerson
the far
as well.
inside.
Dickerson going to lead the way into turn 1 again, it looks like. Or Klein.
Right there with Klein,
Dickerson
little
touch.
Contact. But it's
Gebhardt's
Dickerson,
down.
Gebhardt down. Oh, and there
down.
the leaders are down.
Dickerson stayed up though. He's still going.
Big split
Jake
at the
the
top of the
Snake.
hill.
Jake the Snake Rose into the 2 spot. Jordan Moxie, first time we've talked about him all day, into 3rd. Jack Haley runs in 4th. Tyler Lewis, Tyler Lang, Jeremy Smith, a good start. Craig Leak, Edward Mora, Alex Carlo are your top 10 right now.
Just want to
But
give
Isaiah Dickerson back out front again.
Just want to give a quick shout out in chat because I was having issues loading in. Someone I think meant to say blame 4K skins, but they just said hashtag blame 4skins. So bummer for those people. As Dickerson leads out front.
Moxie putting pressure on Jake Rose. Curious to see what Moxie can do with a good start. He showed some ridiculous speed at times last season.
Haley got a lot better of a start this time.
Yeah, I think that's bad news for everyone else. But I think that the more comfort that he gets running out front, that Dickerson can potentially put himself in that mix. He's got some good speed, and the consistency, I believe, will come. Oh, he almost gets into a bail. Jake Rose, he had some good performances a year ago as well. Nice start for Jake the Snake.
Man, Haley is all over Moxie right now. Battle for 3rd. Coming to the line, lap number 1 in the books. Lap number 2 underway.
It's got to be kind of a mind F for these guys. They just came off the racetrack that was super gnarly and rough and slow, and now it's just flat and smooth and wide open and no ruts to lay into. Got to be super strange.
Haley
Looks
might
like the
actually...
35 of Lewis is on the move.
Yeah, it almost looked like he was going to get around Haley, his teammate.
Craig Leak and Jeremy Smith going at it for 6th spot.
Haley around the outside, triples into the sand, gets Moxie. So there you go. Oh, Moxie looking back inside, and contact. Haley's down in the sand, trying to get going as he goes off the side, loses a couple spots.
Finally got off to the side there where there's no sand traction and was able to get that front wheel back under him. Crazy battle now. Jeremy Smith, Craig Leak, and Sean Klein 3 wide in front of the mechanics area fighting over that number 4 spot.
Much better start for Craig Leak this time. Craig Leak, a former winner in this 250 class, has had a abysmal season thus far and is trying to turn it around, but outside of the point scoring positions in Moto number 1, now battling with these guys in Moto number 2. Got Klein, Haley, Sidehoff all right there with them. Smith leads the freight train to the top of the hill. Haley around the outside of Klein, not able to get it done.
Battle for the lead is under a second right now. Jake Rose putting the pressure on, trying to go into the number 1 spot over Isaiah Dickerson.
Sorry about that. We had a mic malfunction.
Who's Mike?
That would have been
He's
mine.
hard lemonade.
Ah! Klein looking inside on Smith. Meanwhile, the absolute battle of the century going on behind him between Leak and Haley.
Yeah, did someone say choo-choo? Because there's a freight train going on right now.
Haley pulls alongside, scrubs it down hard, and scrubs it down even harder going up the hill. To the inside, will he get Leak? Oh, just got him. Almost contact, but in the end, both stay on 2 wheels, and Haley gets the pass done.
Yeah, Haley lucky he was battling with a veteran like Craig Leak that knew to shut down because those lines were going to cross. I think with some of the younger riders, that would have been a definite collision.
On board with Edward Mora now, right behind this train. 4 riders in the air at the same time. 5 riders actually with 1 behind Mora over the finish line. And Haley gets the pass done on one of the ever good riders right there.
Battle for the lead is intense. I don't want you to miss it if there's a pass as Jake Rose is trying to slingshot around. Isaiah Dickerson was down to half a second. The outside has not developed in yet, though, so Rose lost some time.
Oh, JS4 down in front of Haley and allows Sean Klein to get by.
That freight train is absolutely ridiculous. It goes 4th, 5th, 6th, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, all together.
So now Klein has Haley to deal with at the very front of it.
Haley almost got a little crossed up a little bit off that uphill there.
Everybody using this outside early on, and we'll see that change later in the moto. Man, look at this train. Smith right at the tail end of this first little grouping, kind of pushing it all together, causing an accordion effect as, oh, Mora into the back of his teammate. Leak goes down.
I don't think he expected him to cut over that hard. Smith now trying to make the move.
Smith
Pretty aggressive move.
Yeah. Makes it work, though, and gets ahead of him. He's going to try to latch on to Haley here.
We have a new leader at the front of the field.
Oh, whoa! Oh, he saved it! What a save! Jake Rose flips his way through the S-turn and holds on to the race lead.
Oh, man. Oh, Jake.
Jake the Snake Rose.
The snake just wiggled his way through that section.
Woo! That's about an 11 on the pucker scale. How about Tyler Lewis getting in the mix behind him?
Lewis misses that inside line there, but he reeled himself right up to that guy or group. Looks like they all figured out this triple in between motos. But it'll be interesting as the race goes on if that inside or the outside will actually get blown out a little bit, and the inside will be faster as Dickerson's down.
Yeah, loses a couple spots. Almost got passed by Haley, but Klein definitely did go through.
Times like these are when I wish we had instant replay, because I could watch that replay a few times. The only good thing is I have the stream on the other monitor, so I get to see it twice, just no one else does.
Oh, Lewis way off track, hits a SpongeBob. down in the main line, Klein will go through.
And Dickerson, oh, and Haley gets
Haley,
pounded by
massive
Smith.
pile up in a, he got pounded by him?
I mean, it's got ran into by Smith.
Oh, going to Pound Town.
These guys are all feisty right now, and the track is smooth.
Oh, Klein down at the top of the hill. That'll allow Dickerson back by, Lewis back by.
Man, the spotters are having a weak time right now. Nobody can figure out where people are down and just getting ran into.
Haley.
Oh, Dickerson
Dickerson's
went off
the track, and Haley rips the inside to get around Klein, and then gets around Dickerson.
Haley up at the P3 after getting by Dickerson, and then now Sidehoff latching on behind Klein.
Everybody playing a little bit of musical positions. We're not even 10 minutes into this thing. And Haley's off the track. I saw that developing a bit, and now he's going to have to get back on right next to Sidehoff. Whoa, that was not a good way to do that.
Yeah, that's not going to look good.
I think they're down, or we're down. Somebody's down. Who's
Haley's
down? Who was that? Someone's
Haley.
down the ground.
Haley.
All right, so let's reset things. Jake Rose has about an 11-second lead. Tyler Lewis, Isaiah Dickerson, and Sean Klein in a sick battle right now. Jared Sidehoff has moved his way up to 5th, and Craig Leak right there. That's kind of the main battle right now from 2nd back to 6th. That's where we're keeping our eyes on right meow. Tyler Lewis, Isaiah Dickerson, Sean Klein, first 3 over the finish line. Sidehoff probably pushing the pace from behind. This action hotter than your mama's apple pie. Getting it done into the sand rollers.
Sidehoff with a more kind of blitzing the sand rollers approach comparatively to a lot of the other guys doubling through. 2:24.9 last time for Sidehoff. That's actually his best lap of the evening, as he's going to get 3 for 1. Everybody down trying to triple into the sand, and Sidehoff goes into 2nd. Leak follows suit. Lewis back to 4th. Jeremy Smith now up to 5th. Dickerson and Devin Ryan get up 6th and 7th. And how about Moxie down the inside trying to get a move done on Ryan? Won't get it. And Klein and Haley right behind them.
Sidehoff's done a pretty good job of working like a butcher, slicing through the pack. Ooh, getting some crazy kicks down the downhill. Interestingly enough, Sidehoff had a pretty good first moto, and he was one of the guys really upset about the road between races.
Yeah, well, I think he was the one that maybe had the biggest problems with it late in the moto. I think he felt that he could have won that moto. Obviously ended up 3rd after some late crashes. He's going to try to make amends for it here in Moto 2. That's not the way to do it, though. He's down in transition there. And tough go on these 250Fs to get it going towards the top of the hill. Is he going to hang on? Tyler Lewis.
Oh, side by side into the turn.
Oh, got him back.
Sidehoff was not going to give an inch. He was going to blow Lewis up if Lewis didn't break. And Lewis has pressure from Dickerson Smith right now as well.
It's the first time I've seen that inside line work all night long. It didn't totally work for Lewis, but he almost got Sidehoff back. Now lost a spot to Dickerson, and Smith trying to get in the mix as well. Oh man, it's like a whoop section through that corner.
4 guys in the air at the same time. This freight train just will not separate.
Every time somebody gets away a little bit, they crash back into it. Oh, Smith and Lewis nearly come together.
Now here comes Haley and Devin Ryan from the backside of it.
Smith's gonna get the spot.
Ooh.
Devin
Jake
Ryan.
Rose, a 2:39 lap time last time around. That means he had a crash. His lead's under 4 seconds now. It was over 15 not long ago. Now Craig Leak with the mistake.
Oh man, this is about to be chaos for the lead. There's so many guys right here.
Dickerson all over the back door of Sidehoff.
And Tyler Lewis.
Inside.
Tyler Lewis just went off the track and like missed a timing gate, and it dropped him 3 positions. And he's gonna lose them all as he tries to get back going.
Unbelievable race action right now. Just shows how close the field is right now, just in talent and speed. Perhaps it's because the track is pretty smooth still, pretty fast. I would say right now it's probably about at its fast. It's going to start slowing down here pretty soon. But Jake Rose looking good. Continuing to lead. He's actually stretching his lead back out over Craig Leak. Dickerson now swapping down the hill. Somehow holds it together. There goes the pass. Jeremy Smith around Sidehoff.
Haley from the inside going to get both of them? Yes, he does. Wow, I was watching Smith that whole time because I saw Sidehoff make a mistake. Now look at Smith pull alongside of Haley. Does he check up and go inside? No, Haley's going to use the inside. Smith tries to use the outside, and yeah, Sidehoff just gets him back easy. That inside is
Smith
digging out.
So it's serious trust at the top of that hill.
So Rose continues to lead. Leak is second. Dickerson up to third. Haley now in fourth again. Sidehoff right there in fifth. Smith right behind him. Devin Ryan not too far back. Lewis is still right there. Moxie. Gotta imagine any one of these guys right now think they still have a shot at winning, seeing where that green dot on the map is, and it is not far away as Smith and Sidehoff continue to battle. But how about Haley right on Dickerson? Around the outside, trying to make it an inside move, almost into the back of him. Dickerson holds on for the time being, but they go side by side. Dualies over the finish line. Haley's got the inside, but does he use it to his advantage? Not quite. Dickerson holds on the outside. Meanwhile, Sidehoff and Smith nose to tail the teammates. Different lines. Smith trying to go inside. Sidehoff not able to triple in means the lines end up pretty evenly. Smith's going to try to use that outside line, but that inside is just so deep and dug out. Sidehoff carries all the momentum.
This race just will not separate, huh?
No, I mean, Haley now right behind Dickerson. Craig Leak is right there, and your leader, Jake Rose, is not too far away as Leak is having some issues. And Haley went down.
As did Jeremy Smith.
Yeah, Smith down too, so Devin Ryan's going to go around the outside of both of them. Haley gets up behind Devin Ryan. Will he hold on Moxie? Yes, he will.
Oh,
and
Leak
Leak's
is down
down.
in second. The Magic Manning Internet's nothing really new for Craig Leak. That's kind of been something that he's dealt with his whole sim career, and everyone that's raced him has had to.
Right. So Leak was second, obviously going backwards just a little bit. Now Haley kind of has to contend with him a little bit. Devin Ryan, Sidehoff, Dickerson, and Jake Rose continues to lead. Jake Rose was almost nowhere to be found in that first moto, and is suddenly leading this thing past the halfway mark. Right now, the overalls are kind of split, which actually makes me think, where is your defending champion?
I have not seen him.
Here he is, coming up Mount St. Helens in 25th. So second in the first moto. Colton Mitchell is not having a good go of it in the second one. Not too sure what exactly happened here, but clearly not the moto he's looking to have, and he still has a long road ahead of him to get deep into the points.
Even Walter Gephardt back in 26.
Notice what I'm noticing a little bit here, Chris, is if you take a look at the track map, almost 20 minutes into this thing, it gives you a really good idea of the skill level throughout the field. We're still not even kind of close to getting people lapped yet. We're still 4 or 5 corners away from legitimate lap traffic.
Yeah, that's absolutely nuts. While we are halfway in, let's check out P37 for just a quick moment. Our versus PC one to watch. Hey, the race isn't going his way, but he is still out there, which is better than a lot of our versus PC one to watch. And we're gonna have to watch him for a minute because I have to watch him hit that hip table and see if he does the oppo whip. Oh, don't crash, please. We don't want to wait that long. Oh, he throws the back
flips
whip
it.
out. I think Hubbard knows we're watching him, so he definitely's got the oppo whip on point for us as we come around. He's got the camera on him. He's just trying right now to get a little attention.
Let's see
for his
it.
BPC sponsorship. Oh, he throws that's not as good as the one I saw first photo, but attaboy Jacob Hubbard getting it done, not rage quitting. He is our versuspc.com one to watch. Holy battle for second, still raging on. Side off Dickerson, Haley, Devin Ryan. This is insanity.
So Sidehop actually got around Dickerson. That's the change as it runs because Dickerson was ahead. And now Haley's trying
Quadsies. Oh, Triley's. Devin Ryan did not throw
yeah,
it.
Devin Ryan
Just Triley's.
going for the straight air Leclerc technique. Different lines being used. Haley goes outside. Now Sidehop jumps out of the inside rut trying to make a new one.
That's
Nose
that
to
debate.
tail.
When do you get out of that main line? Is it too early? Is it not early enough? Now Haley's coming on Dickerson. I can't stream with you, Kellen.
Oh man,
can't do it.
Haley's gonna get by Dickerson though as they throw dualies again. That's the second time this moto these guys have done it. And now Haley gets the pass stuck.
But Dickerson goes right back by.
Oh man!
race is
Oh,
over,
and he
then Haley
plows
just-
him. Oh, and then there goes
Devin Ryan
Devin
says,
Ryan.
"What's up? I'll go right by."
Jordan Moxley's
And,
gonna go around the outside. Here comes
Moxley
Jeremy
also-
Smith.
You make one mistake, don't even fall off the bike, and you lose multiple spots. Jeremy Smith also trying to capitalize. Unbelievable.
Now Jack Haley triples into the sand, pulls up behind Dickerson again. Might be getting a little frustrated with him at this point. Has a great drive, but it's not going to come to work for him here. Well, maybe. See if he can square him off coming down the start straight here. Dickerson trying to get the power out of that 250. Yeah, Haley almost into the side of him.
Oh man, these guys are just racing so closely, and now they're raced right onto Moxie's back tire.
Yeah, Moxley kind of a sitting duck suddenly for these two guys that are maybe a little bit red in the face with each other.
So
Down
I'm
the
wondering if
inside.
that Haley hit was on purpose out of frustration, or if he accidentally smashed him like Stifler's mom.
Well, here we go. Haley down the inside. Dickerson just runs into the back of him. Well, that was interesting. And Moxie has
Dickerson's
a...
hot.
Go ahead, Dart.
Yeah, Dickerson's hot.
Let's see.
I have been, I don't know if I should say lucky enough or unlucky enough to be in the server with, or in a chat with Dickerson during some road test races and such, and he definitely gets heated. He's a young kid still.
Yeah.
Just an update on our defending champion, Colton Mitchell, sitting in 21st place, 20 minutes into this moto. Not looking good for the numero uno.
Gotta
Colton
make
Mitchell
something
gonna lose
happen.
some serious points.
There's the first I've ever seen in chat right now. Someone asking if Sim will work with dial-up.
What style up? Battle between Rose, Sidehoff is about 3 seconds, 6 seconds back to Devin Ryan, Jack Haley and 2 seconds back. Sean Klein makes the move on Moxie as he was on the ground. Jeremy Smith also getting up from a crash. These guys were all kind of tangled together. Then we have Isaiah Dickerson on the MB Films, number 65. Then Evergood's Craig Leake. And Tyler Lewis rounds out the top 10. It seems like all these guys have been in second at some point, and they're just in that's just the top 10. Just the way it is.
Man, who is going to win this race? I mean, clearly Jake
Sidehoff
Rose
is
is...
munching into that gap here.
Jake Rose has rode a fantastic race thus far. Sidehoff closing in, but we saw the struggles Sidehoff had late in the moto with the road development. And we're about 7 minutes away from from the 2-lap card. And the track's
watch
only
the
going to get
downhill.
worse.
See what the line choices are. It looks like all the way to the left for Rose, going all the way to the right is Sidehop, and then he's going to cut across there. There's a lapper down as well. Sidehop carrying a lot of momentum, really slingshots out of that berm. He's hooking up better than a rich dude at the Bunny Ranch. Jared Sidehop is on the move right now. Maybe he's figured the road out. Ooh, getting a little sketchy there.
And Jake Rose, like, we haven't talked about him much, but just quietly been leading this thing, which is weird because he was nowhere to be found in the first moto. So normally when you do this, it's kind of noticeable, but he's just been up front clicking off laps.
Could have been a poor start. Maybe he's had the pace the whole time and just couldn't get out there, or maybe figured out some stuff between motos.
Sidehop definitely lurking right behind him now. Wants to make a pass and get going because he knows
He's going inside.
Haley's working on guys behind him. Look at Rose going all the way outside now. Sidehop trying to line outside of the far inside.
These guys are looking for smooth real estate. As Sidehop runs it in, not too aggressive there. He tucked back in line. I was waiting to see if he was actually going to punt him.
Now missed the inside red a little bit, lost some time. Haley is definitely not that far behind if something were to happen. This is about the time of the moto last time, in the first moto that is, that the gap between Haley and Sidehop really inflated. Sidehop is still looking really strong right now though.
Appears we've lost Jordan Moxie out of the field, and I'm reading in chat that we might have lost Jeremy Smith as well. Yes, we did.
Interesting. Just rage quit, or?
I guess Jeremy said disconnected, and I'm not so sure on Moxie.
And Sidehop is running out of his opportunity because I'll tell you what, Jack Haley 2:22.9 just reset the fastest lap of the race. And here's Sidehop down the inside. Jake Rose into the first corner, and he's going to get him.
Rose almost let him have it. Maybe he's going to try to strike back.
At the top of the hill, looking for another move. Haley is lurking back there.
Here comes the drag race through the braking bumps. This is going to get
Oh,
sketchy.
and there goes Sidehop down, but he saves it. Loses a spot to Haley.
But he's still in the battle. The kickers up that hill are gnarly, and Haley's wheeling over them every single time. It's getting him so much speed and drive, but it takes such talent to not Larry Loop out doing that.
It's this time in the moto that Haley is really shining through at right now, and he's going to go
There he
around to the
goes.
side of Jake Rose, who made a mistake on the inside, and just like that, Jack Haley is into the lead again at Glen Helen.
25 minutes in, the top three are separated by maybe a tenth on the racetrack. Unbelievable racing here in Moto 2 at Glen Helen. Sidehop looking inside. Tucks back in line.
I definitely got to say Sidehop is looking better later into this race, but I think, like I said, his window of opportunity with Haley might have gone because Haley just seems like he's getting faster and faster with the track. Sidehop now jumps inside, makes the pass on Jake Rose. Rose fighting back though. Ooh, near contact in the air. Sidehop wants to go get Haley again for the lead. Definitely far from over at the moment.
Yeah, you can tell Sidehop wants to race.
2:29.7 to a 2:24.5. But I don't know. Sidehop looks like he's found an extra gear since getting around Rose. Great drive in the sand.
Wow.
Oh, and Haley goes down, and Sidehop almost gets into him, but he takes the lead. Neither of them clear that double. They both go outside and try to triple into the sand. Sidehop doesn't get it. Haley does, but Sidehop stayed low enough that it kind of worked out. Oh, Haley is off the bike. Ooh, that's going to flip this race on its head real quick. So Sidehop back into the lead. Rose now second, Haley regrouping in third. Haley very clearly has a different level to the guys ahead of him as the race develops and the track gets worse. So we'll see if he's able to claw his way back into the battle for the win with about 2 minutes and 2 laps to go. Downhill biting Jake Rose just a little bit. So it's Seidhoff, Rose, Haley, Klein, Ryan, your top 5. Dickerson, Moxie, Mora, Carlo, and Lewis round out the top 10. Although Lewis and Craig Leak are actually battling for that position. Lewis gets it momentarily. Colby Eagland, Harry White, Phil Bull, Zoa Cross, Matthias Janis, and then Colton Mitchell. So Mitchell's second in the first moto, 17th right now. 228.6 last time by. He was able to do a 223 at one point during this moto. There's a good group of guys about 2 corners away from him that might get him into the top 10 with just over a minute and a couple laps to go. But he's got to get to that group. Looking inside on Janis. Now it breaks him and gets the spot. I would have to believe that most of the complaining about the road is coming from these 2 downhills and how gnarly they're getting, but having been to Glen Helen quite a few times in real life, I can say that honestly that is about the size those bumps get to. And normally speaking, Sim over-exaggerates things and makes things bigger, so I'd say these guys should be thankful it's not oversized at this point.
Whatever. It's Glen Helen. It's supposed to be gnarly.
Yeah, exactly. So Haley's gotten back around Jake Rose. His gap to Seidhoff with 3 laps, well, about 2.5 laps to go. 7.3 seconds, 237.3. Obviously, with the fall-off crash doesn't help him.
Sean Klein, though, on Jake Rose. That's the real battle right now.
Klein looking for a little bit of a turnaround moto. I think he expected to be towards the front in that first one. Still inside of the top 10, but not really a good threat for the front spots. Now looking at a podium position here in Moto 2, right behind Jake Rose.
Ooh, Klein gets the swaps, but saves it.
Oh, wow. And Rose, another mistake on those inside ruts. Klein swings.
I have a feeling that far inside of that downhill is actually going away a little bit. Everybody kind of moved over to that, but it's hard to switch your lineup this late in the race because at least you know that line's consistent.
Yeah.
It's big and deep, but it's big bumps and consistent, and you're not just going to eat it. You're not going to hit a surprise bump, but I do believe that there's probably a better line down that hill now than that far side.
And Klein just... Go ahead, Cody.
Oh, battle for the lead is really good.
2 lap. Go ahead, Cody.
I was just going to say Haley is closing up on Seidhoff.
2 lap card out. White flag next time by, so we got 2 to go. And the battle for the lead is on. It is not going to be the battle for the overall. That is Haley's to lose. He would have to lose a big chunk of time and lose a spot to Jake Rose in third. Oh, Haley's off the track. Or I'm sorry, Seidhoff's off the track and Haley is down.
Off his bike.
So there we go. Now Seidhoff has a bigger lead to work with. Let's see if he takes it a little bit easier going forward. Just when we thought Sean Klein was going to get third, it's actually now Devin Ryan who's moved into fourth and might have a go at Rose at some point. Right now.
Right now.
Yep, there you go. Devin Ryan jumps over Jake Rose, who was making a couple mistakes down the far right-hand side of the racetrack there.
Sean Klein might even have a piece of him.
Big gap to Moxie, Dickerson, Eagland has Tyler Lewis right behind him. Then Craig Leake not too far back of that, Edward Mora, and then Colton Mitchell. So Mitchell's now up to 12th. There is a grouping of about 4 guys ahead of him. Might be able to squeak out a top 10.
Taking advantage of the rough track to do some serious damage control is Colton Mitchell.
No question. Ooh, big crash from Tyler Lewis.
Moore is down in front of Mitchell. That'll be an all position.
Lewis is just getting going, and yeah, Mitchell's just jumping over Morris. So I think he'll get into the top 10. We'll have to see how far. Devin Ryan, meanwhile, got around Jake Rose and is into that 3rd spot.
And don't count out Sean Klein, still in 5th. They're right there kind of with that group.
Haley's not giving up.
Well, I was just going to say, he's going to come to the white flag right now with nothing to lose. He has 22 seconds behind him, so he's not going to really lose second.
Oh, that line coming through that final corner. He hops the bumps into the rut, and it's so smooth. Here we go. White flag in the air at Glen Helen. Final lap of the 250 moto. Moto number 2. Overall not on the line. That is Haley's. Race victory is on the line. At the moment, that's Seidhoff.
Oh my god, he had just made up so much time. He wheelied those first 3 rollers and just carried all of that speed.
Jack Haley is on the gas right now.
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
Locked in.
Flames.
I have a feeling he's going to make the pass going up Mount St. Helens. The way he's been wheeling those rollers is so fast. If he's close enough, I think he'll make the move.
My god. He made up a full second within those those 2 sections there.
I don't know if, since I've been on board with him, I don't know if he's actually let off in a corner yet. Just right there, he had a little blip of the throttle.
This is where it's tough. When you're the second guy, you kind of just match the guy's pace in front of you, maybe go a little faster. When you're the first guy, you're trying to set the pace. Here goes up Mount St. Helens.
Oh my gosh.
Haley getting the wheelies going and misses the bumps. Can't quite get it done.
You were almost right about that prediction. Oh,
Oh, the lap.
Oh, and Seidhoff goes down. Haley's into him. They're both down, and they're both off the bike. Who's going to get up first? Seidhoff is getting on his bike first, but Haley's pointed the right way, and he's going to get going ahead of him.
Let's see if this lapper gets out of the way.
No, he's right there, and Seidhoff is, oh, there's contact. They're both down again. Oh my
Don't count out
goodness.
Sean Klein at this point.
And Haley's in a
because-
terrible spot as they're both trying to get going.
They're both in a terrible spot.
Oh, Seidhoff is dead stopped right there.
Holy cow.
I can't even believe that as Haley reassumes the lead.
I don't even know who that lapper was. Number 640 something or 632. Go back.
I don't know. They only had a 22-second lead at one point, but Sean Klein must have went down in 3rd. So they ended up having a 30-some second lead that was able to allow them the 2 fall-offs without losing the lead spot. The 2 very long fall-offs.
Unbelievable.
Gunnar Fugler.
Shocker.
Well, you would think that, well, I guess he did hold up Haley instead of Seidhoff, but
Well, he wasn't trying to cause
Yeah,
the issues
I think
by
he
any
was-
means. And the second time he was just crashed in the rut, I think.
Yeah.
oh, wow. Well, here
If
it
this
is.
was years ago.
Coming down to the finish line, a 1-1 performance on the day. The winner of the Glen Helen National is Jack Haley. And he takes the points lead with him. Next week, Thunder Valley, and he'll have the red plate.
Wow, that was pretty gnar.
Seidhoff, so close yet so far, ends up second. Klein, as you mentioned, Chris, went down, lost a chunk of time, still gets 3rd. Devin Ryan 4th. Rose led this race for a very long time and is going to maybe hang on to a top 5, although it's not over. Moxie's still right there.
There's Moxie and a whole lot of roughness between him and the finish line. Oh, I was gonna say a few years ago, I probably would have ridiculed Fugler pretty hard, but this time I think it was just pure accidents. I
Yeah.
don't think he did anything wrong.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to ride the inside wall of the rut, and that kind of caused more of a problem than
Yeah.
anything because he was trying so hard to get out of the way that it slowed him up a bunch.
Oh,
and then,
battle right now. 3 riders still coming to the finish for 7th. Dickerson, Lewis, Leak.
no, drag race Leak. No, actually, Lewis outdrove him a little bit. Well, Leak sent it to the line, but still falls half a second short. Cuts could be
Eagland
a
right
factor.
there as well.
Oh.
Wow, Eagland throws it dirty.
That
over
was
the finish.
sick. Mitchell ends up 11th. Bill Bull is going to get 12th.
Harry White trying to get 14th. Oh!
Oh, hits the
Taken
deck.
down by Mora.
And Whiteley is down, so Cross is going to get a position. Tyler Lang and Matthias Janis and Walter
Uh-oh.
Gebhardt.
We got a battle for the last point. Walter Gebhardt.
No, Walter Gebhardt's going to go full send here. Let's see it. Oh, contact.
He's gonna
And
crash himself out of the point. No, there's a rider down on the inside
that's
line.
Lang.
That is Tyler
What the
Lang.
heck? He
Oh.
just went through him. And
And here comes
Gebhardt.
Kevin Gonzalez, wants the point.
Oh man, Gonzalez is gonna get close. Woo! Hit a kicker, almost made it all the way over the line.
I was gonna say that wow, man, that was. Might have to watch for that in the 450s. They might be able to jump all the way over the finish.
Yeah.
If the
So
kicker forms.
Eklund unofficially 22nd, as he was gonna be the first guy not to finish lap 15. Lap 14, we have Gatlin, Wells, Ming Woodley. Let's see, cuts. Did that change anything? Actually, yes. Kevin Gonzalez got a spot on Lang, so he got that final point. And Lewis moved up 2 spots. Dickerson and I think I couldn't tell who that was, but Lewis got a couple spots there. So actually, we're gonna go ahead and go off air so that I can split these broadcasts, make it a little bit more easy to watch. But we'll be right back. Not too long of a break on the other side of this, and we'll have the 450 action coming up. So you've been watching the 250 Motos live here on SYS TV from Glen Helen. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.